The stage lights light up slowly. The voices of thousands of spectators echoed in the roaring night air, yet amidst that sea of light, only one figure stood quietly in the center of the stage. V, with a microphone in his hand, staring at the audience, as if speaking without a word. As the music flowed softly, a blue light enveloped his face, highlighting his meaningful gaze. That night, the world witnessed not just the appearance of an idol, but the silent recognition of an artist who is learning to stand up for himself. Her soft voice began to fill the room, note after note flowing like a secret whisper understood only by the heart. The song is not just a melody, it is a journey. Each verse is like opening a life sheet that has never been told in public. V looked different that night, not just because her voice was deeper than usual, but because of her aura. There was something more mature, freer, but also quieter. When the song ended, he just smiled a little, looked down, then stepped slowly left the stage. A roar of applause shook the room, but inside, V knew this was the beginning of a new chapter of his life. The world knows him as one of the 7 big stars of BTS, but now, the light is starting to have its own direction. A light that no longer only revolves around the music scene, but also behind the lens of fashion, under the Parisian sky, and behind the complicated story of an artist's freedom within a large and strict industrial system. The following days take Taehyung, or V, on a journey away from the frenetic concerts. From a music studio in Seoul to a plane taking off from Incheon Airport bound for Paris, his steps are now no longer just the steps of a group member, but the journey of a man who is looking for breathing space. At Incheon Airport that morning, the air was cold and heavy. Hundreds of cameras waited behind the perimeter, fans holding banners reading, "V, you are our pride." Every cheer sounded like a prayer that flew with his footsteps. He wore a long black coat, sunglasses, and a hat that partially covered his face. But even without words, his presence creates emotional waves that are difficult to explain. All eyes followed his every step, as if afraid to lose a second of the journey. The plane that took him to Paris seemed to be a new symbol of freedom. He didn't leave BTS, but for the first time, he's flying for himself. Paris greeted him with an elegant gray sky. A black car picked him up directly from the airport to a hotel in the Saint-Germain district. Along the way, international media cameras followed his every move. For the fashion world, his arrival was not just news. It was an event. Because V is not just the face of a brand, it is the embodiment of the harmony between art, silence, and undefined charm. CELINE, the legendary fashion house under the direction of HYBE, has long seen something different in Taehyung. Not only because of his good looks, but because of the mysterious energy he always carried. CELINE, the creative director, sees in V an aura that is hard to find in fashion: authenticity. And now, in Paris, the two worlds finally meet. From being a fan of HYBE's work in 2017 to being the global face of CELINE in later years, the journey felt like destiny written in gold. INK.IN, her first photo shoot with CELINE. The atmosphere in the studio was magical. V stands in front of the camera in an all-black outfit, sparkling lights behind him, and HYBE himself arranges every corner of the light. The click of the camera beeps over and over again, and each shot looks like a cut of film noir, calm, sharp, and alluring. When the photos were released, the internet seemed to stop. V for CELINE is trending all over the world. ARMY, who had been waiting patiently for any news of him, flooded social media with pride and love. She's not just a singer, she's an artist. One fan wrote on Twitter. Another wrote, "Taehyung looks like a character from another world." CELINE found her true muse. But behind all that glitz and adulation, there is a shadow that is no less great. Rumors about a less than harmonious relationship between V and HYBE, the agency that sheltered him for many years. Fans began to notice that HYBE seemed less active in promoting her solo activities. While V broke through the global stage alongside CELINE and Layover, the agency's official account remained silent. ARMY began to wonder, why no official congratulations? Why are promotional videos delayed? Even some content removed? Is there something to hide? Speculation has also sprung up. Some say that HYBE's management was uncomfortable with the independence that began to grow in Taehyung. Some also believe that the agency is worried that its solo projects will blur the line between BTS as a group and members as individuals. But in the midst of it all, one thing is clear: V does not stop his steps. While rumors are growing on social media, V still appears elegant, calm, and focused on work. She attends Paris Fashion Week with a gentle smile, greets important guests, and walks between the rows of cameras without the slightest loss of self-control. In Paris, he is the center of gravity. All eyes are riveted to him. Each photo that appears shows an almost untouched elegance. Meanwhile, ARMY around the world wrote proudly, "He showed the world what it means to be Taehyung." Fans demanded that HYBE further appreciate V's contributions and struggles, not only when he stands as part of BTS, but also when he stands as himself. V remained silent. He never responded with words. Instead, he responded with music. The LayoverAlbum is a mirror of her true self, gentle, calm, a little somber, but beautiful. Each song is like an unsent love letter, each note as if born of long silent nights. In the song Slow Dancing, he sings softly, as if hugging the world with his voice. In Love Me Again, there is an honest note of sadness, like a prayer that people will still love her even if she changes. When the music video was released, ARMY cried. They wrote in the comments, "He does not seek to be famous. He's just trying to be honest." Another wrote, "He sang as if he were speaking directly to us, asking us to stay with him." And they did stay with him. The reaction of the ARMY around the world became a great force that could not be ignored. They wrote letters, created global fan art projects, and held layover listening nights in various countries. In every corner of the world, from Seoul to Sao Paulo, these songs are heard on the streets. He may feel alone at the top, but his fans make him feel never really alone. But the storm of rumors did not stop. Some media wrote about the tension between the management and the artist. Some reports even mentioned that Taehyung had considered focusing more on an independent path in the future. No one knows for sure, but the public can sense something changing. Even so, every time he appears before the public, his aura remains the same, soothing, mysterious, and alluring. He smiled a little in the crowd, greeted the fans, and that was enough to ease thousands of anxious hearts. When he returned to Korea after a promotional tour and fashion schedule in Paris, the scenery at Incheon Airport was again filled with a sea of people. Thousands of ARMYs stood waiting since dawn, carrying flowers, posters, and tears. As soon as the arrival door opened, and V appeared with a slow step, cheers instantly echoed. He lowered his head slightly, waved his hand, and although his face was covered with a mask, the eyes seemed to sparkle. Among the crowd, someone shouted, "We love you, Taehyung." And for some reason, V paused, looked at the voice, then nodded slowly. A simple little moment, but enough to make the virtual world explode with excitement again. A few days later, in a short interview, he said a phrase that left many speechless. "I don't want to prove anything to anyone. I just want to be honest with myself." The sentence is simple, but deep. He was not talking about a career, but about freedom, something he may have wanted to achieve for a long time. Now, as the lights of Paris go out again, and the music scene in Seoul prepares to turn on again, V stands in the middle of two worlds, the one he grew up in, and the one he has now created himself. He knew the road would not always be easy, but with every step, she shows that true beauty is born not from perfection, but from the courage to be yourself. In the eyes of the world, it is V, Ambassador CELINE, singer, global icon. But in the eyes of the ARMY, he remains KimTaehyung, the man who with his gentle voice was able to calm the storm in their hearts. Paris will always be the place where he finds himself again. Incheon Airport will always be the starting and ending point of any trip. And between those two places unfolds the story of the love, struggle, and freedom of an artist who chose to remain gentle even though the world can be so harsh. That night, on the music stage where it all began, V standing, the blue light came on again, and he stared at the thousands of faces waiting for him. V no longer sings just to be heard. He sings to live, and the whole world is listening.